Chester's Way by Kevin Hankes. Chester had his own way of doing things. Hello, my name is Chester. I like croquet and peanut butter and making my bed. He always cut his sandwiches diagonally. He always got out of bed on the same side. Never left the house without a double knot in his shoes. Chester's always had the same thing for breakfast, toast with jam and peanut butter. He always carried a miniature first aid kit in his back pocket just in case. Definitely have a mind of your own, said Chester's mother. That's one way to put it, said Chester's father. Chester's best friend, Wilson, was exactly the same way. That's why they were best friends. Chester wouldn't play baseball unless Wilson played, and they never swung in the first pitch or slid head first. Wilson wouldn't ride his bike unless Chester wanted to go, and they always used hand signal. If Chester was hungry, Wilson was too, but they rarely ate between meals. Someday I can't tell those two apart, said Wilson's mother. Me either, said Wilson's father. Chester and Wilson, Wilson and Chester. That's the way it was. They loved going on picnics. Once when Wilson accidentally swallowed a watermelon seed and cried because he was afraid that a watermelon plant would grow inside of him. Chester swallowed one too. Don't worry, said Chester. Now, if you grow a watermelon plant, I'll grow one too. Chester duplicated his Christmas list every year and gave a copy to Wilson, because they always wanted the same thing anyways. For Halloween, they always dressed as the same thing. They went together. Salt, pepper, shakers, 2 mittens on a string, ham and eggs. They really are two peas in pods, said Chester's mother. Looks like it, said Chester's father. In spring, Chester and Wilson shared the same umbrella. In winter, they never threw snowballs at each other. In the fall, they raked the leaves together. In the summer, they reminded each other to wear sunscreen so they wouldn't burn. Chester and Wilson, Wilson and Chester. That's the way it was. And then Lily moved into the neighborhood. Lily had her own way of doing things. I'm Lily, I'm the queen, I like everything. She wore band-aids all over her arms and legs to look more brave. She talked backwards to herself sometimes so no one would know what she was saying. I'm a yielding. She never left the house without one of her nifty disguises. Lily waved at all the cars that passed by, even if she didn't know who was in them, and she always carried a loaded squirt gun in her back pocket just in case. She definitely has a mind of her own, said Chester. That's one way to put it, said Wilson. When Lily and Chester and Wilson played together, when Lily asked Chester and Wilson to play, they were busy. She called them up the phone, they disguised their voices and said they weren't home. If Lily walked on one side of the street, Chester and Wilson crossed the other and hid. She's something else, said Chester. Looks like it, said Wilson. One day, while Chester and Wilson were practicing their hand signals, some older boys rode by, popping wheelies. They circled Chester and Wilson and yelled personal remarks. Chester and Wilson didn't know what to do. Just then they were about to give up hope. A fierce-looking cat with horrible fangs jumped out of the bushes and frightened all the boys away. Are you who I think you are? Chester asked the cat. Of course, the cat replied. Thank you, Lily, said Chester. You're welcome, Chester, said Lily. Thank you, Lily, said Wilson. You're welcome, Wilson, said Lily. I'm glad you were in disguise, said Chester. And I'm glad you had your squirt gun, said Wilson. I always do, said Lily, just in case. Afterwards, Chester invited Lily over for lunch. You have a muscle mouse cup, said Lily. Of course, said Chester. I do too, said Lily. Same here, said Wilson. Chester and Wilson cut their sandwiches diagonally. Lily asked Chester's mother if she had a cookie cutter. She made stars and flowers and bells. That's neat, said Chester. Wow, said Wilson. That night, Lily invited Chester and Wilson to sleep over. You have a nightlight, said Chester. Of course, said Lily. I do too, said Chester. Same here, said Wilson. Chester wanted toast with jam and peanut butter for breakfast the next morning. Boring, said Lily. Try this instead. Oh, this is good, said Chester. Wow, said Wilson. After that, when Lily asked Chester and Wilson to play, they said yes. When she called him up on the phone, they had a pleasant conversation. Lily was walking on one side of the street. Chester and Wilson waved and ran to catch up with her. Chester and Wilson taught Lily hand signals, and she taught them how to play pop lilies. Lily taught Chester and Wilson how to talk backwards, and they taught her how to double knot her shoes. Some days I can't tell those three parts, said Lily's mother. Me either, said Lily's father. Chester and Wilson and Lily, Lily and Wilson and Chester. That's the way it was. For Halloween, they dressed as the three blind mice. For Christmas, Lily gave Chester and Wilson nifty disguises, and they gave her a box of multicolored shoelaces, extra long for double knotting. They loved to go on picnics. When Chester and Wilson told Lily how they had each other's full of watermelon seed once, Lily swallowed 3 of them. I'll grow a watermelon plant for each of us, she said. In spring, Chester and Wilson and Lily shared the same umbrella. In winter, they never threw snowballs at each other. In fall, they raked leaves together. In the summer, they reminded each other to wear sunscreen so they wouldn't burn. Chester and Wilson and Lily, Lily, Wilson and Chester. That's the way it was. And then Victor moved in the neighborhood. I see the moon and the moon sees me. God bless the moon and God bless me. The itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain. And the itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.